Good afternoon, everyone. It's Erica here with the Gallatin Valley Sentinel. We are conducting interviews over the next few days with the City of Bozeman government study candidates. We're super excited to have Roger Blank with us today, and we're going to dive into his campaign and see how things are going. Roger, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for hosting this, and
Absolutely.
to all the viewers, thank you for taking the time to listen to not only my candidacy and my information, but for taking all of us into consideration.
Yeah, this has been a really cool thing. And, technology can be really awesome that we can even do stuff like this. So tell us a
Yeah,
little bit about your background, Roger.
sure. I'm an attorney by trade. Please don't hold that against me.
We won't.
I've worked as a public prosecutor, and I've also worked as a prosecutor especially assigned to prosecute government officials for official misconduct.
Awesome.
And currently, right now, I have my own defense practice.
Awesome. What are some of the things that you like about Bozeman?
Well, the environment, both geographical, physical, and just the people. People are wonderful, nice, friendly. I'm not telling anyone anything they don't already know if they live here.
Yeah.
And plus the natural environment, being so close to the park, being
Yeah.
so close to nature. It's an ideal environment from multiple facets.
Yeah, I think everybody has that in common. It's such a beautiful place. Sometimes it's like, wow, do I really live here? This is a postcard and we're living here. But there's some not so good things going on in the city. What are some of the things that you're not happy about?
Sure. Well, urban camping is an issue that has been going on for years.
Yeah.
I think the current city commission has enabled it to continue, and really it's brought a criminal element to our city that is being tolerated, that should not be tolerated. I understand, look, affordability is an issue. Affordable housing is a problem. It's not only a problem in Bozeman, it's a problem in Montana, and it's becoming a problem nationwide. However, that doesn't excuse people from not having an obligation to do the right thing if they are finding affordable housing. I myself was on a wait list for 4 months before I found my apartment, which I rent for an apartment that I can afford. So I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there isn't a right to live on the street and create a public nuisance for other people that are doing the right thing, that are paying taxes, that are trying to maintain their property. There's got to be a balance, and I believe that the city commission is not taking that balance into account for the benefit of the taxpaying residents of Bozeman.
Yeah. So have you ever been in politics before, Roger?
Yes.
Okay.
Originally from the East Coast, I ran for Congress back in 2010. And I ran as a conservative in a very liberal district, which was an exercise in futility.
Yeah.
But I am glad that I did it because I learned a tremendous amount about just the political process, being in politics, raising money for politics, running for office, and I did that back in 2010, and then also here in Bozeman in 2023, I ran for a city commissioner because one of the issues I want to address was the urban camping and what I perceived then and still perceive as the city commission's failure to adequately address the problem of urban camping.
Yeah, that kind of segues into my next question, which is what motivated you to run for this study. It's 2 years of your time. It's going to be a lot of work, and I've asked everyone this question. Yeah, what's motivated you to commit such time to this?
Sure. Well, one of the problems I see with the current city charter and the current form of our government is I don't think it appropriately represents the Bozeman community. Now, when Bozeman was small, geographically and population-wise, it made sense to have the form of government that we currently have.
Right.
However, as Bozeman has grown both geographically and population-wise, it no longer makes sense, and there are adjustments that have to be made. And an example being is currently right now, the both the mayor as well as the city commission are part-time positions. And the most powerful person in Bozeman is not actually the mayor, it's the city manager. and he's not even elected or appointed by the people. He's appointed by the city commission.
Wow.
Now, we are fortunate today to have a great city manager in Chuck Wynn. But as everyone knows, with our prior city manager, that was not, it was not the case. And a city administration shouldn't be run on luck. Like I said, we are lucky to have Chuck Wynn, but we also were very unlucky to have the prior city manager. So I believe that the form of government through the charter, which is really the document that establishes the relationship between the citizen and the government, that's got to be more reflective of the citizens' right to input and a democratically elected city government. Now, what I propose is the city manager's position be eliminated, and that the mayor be the elected chief executive officer of the city, just as it is largely across most of the country that doesn't have a city manager form of government. And I believe that the mayor should be a full-time position because they're going to be heading up the city government. They're going to be doing they'll be the CEO of the government in effect. So they need to be full-time. I believe the commissioners can remain part-time. However, right now, both the mayor as well as the city commissioners are all elected at large, and all of them currently reside in South Bozeman. So they don't have the negative impact of the urban campers that the rest of us have. And their lack of experience of living with the urban campers, I think, reflects the decisions that they make for policy. So it's a problem that they just drive by. They don't live among. So what I would like to see is the city commissioners not be elected at large, but by districts that are drawn up by geographic and population, so that I have a direct representative in my neighborhood that represents my interests that sits on the city council. I also believe that the city council should be expanded beyond just the 5 members that it currently has.
Yeah, I think it has to in order to keep up with the growth. I mean, as Bozeman continues to expand, there has to be representation for all of those new places. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So how's your campaign going? What do you, yeah, what do you,
you never know until the votes are counted.
Right.
So I'm hopeful that both people, certainly the fact that we voted to examine our charter shows that the people have the pulse on what needs to be done. Now, it's a long-term project, but long-term projects are worth it in the end, because in the end, this will not be, assuming I'm elected to the position, this will not be my proposed charter draft.
Right.
It will not be the study commission's proposed charter draft. It'll be a charter for the citizens of Bozeman, and they will have the final say both in the drafting of it and ultimately in the adoption of it or not, according to how they view the document that we produce on their behalf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what we've done here with the Gallatin Valley Sentinel, and is utilize these things that we have at our disposal: social media, doing videos like this, and really helping to help you connect with the people of Bozeman. And so we're going to be promoting this, and hopefully that will help get the word out there. I think that we can also maybe do a little bit more to make sure that people even know what the study is. I think there's a large amount of folks that aren't very familiar with what exactly it is, what it can do and what it can't do, and what it means for the future of our city. So we're just happy to be doing this, and that we're getting the chance to sit down with you guys, and hopefully we can help with your campaign and get some exposure.
I think what you just said is exactly right. A lot of people I've spoken to, they either were not aware at all that there's a study commission that had just been voted on, that they were now going to have the opportunity to vote on people to be on the study commission. And those who are aware of it aren't really fully aware of what exactly the study commission is. Everybody's thinking it's going to be a political document.
Right.
And it's not a political document. It's going to be what we want our structure of government to be. and what are the responsibility of the various actors that are in that structure.
And I think it's so important that we have a cross section of people that are included in this process. You know, if we have all the same group, those are just certain ideas that are being pushed. Like there have to be some checks and balances, and it would be such an amazing thing to have some new voices and new ideas instead of this is the direction we're going with no opposition. And I think so many folks have not realized how important local politics is and how we, the people, do have a say in how our city functions. And I think a lot of people have become more involved. And maybe it's not such a great thing that it's taken the country going in the direction that it's gone on a whole, but it's nice to see that people are turning out, they're waking up, they're starting to realize that, hey, there are things that I can do in my own community, showing up to commission meetings, being involved, participating, that can hopefully make a difference in how things go forward.
And I think that's it's very Montana specific. No other state gets to examine their form of government every 10 years and then make changes if they so wish.
Yeah.
And that's very important. And I think also you're right. We need currently one of my disagreements with the current city commission, an example being again the urban campers, is most recently a poll was done where 87%, it was actually 86.83% of Bozeman residents do not want to allow urban camping on their public streets, public rights of way. Yet the city commission went ahead and authorized it nonetheless under a permit system after having an ordinance that did not work for a year. So they've gone ahead, they've gotten public input, public says they don't want it, yet the city commission has essentially thumbed their nose in the face of the public by then allowing it. And I think that is an example of the lack of representation of the public's will in our current system of government. And it allows it.
Yeah, how does that even happen? I commented on that, and I don't understand how essentially 90%, let's call that a majority by any stretch, and that was back in August. Since then, there have been reports of crimes, rape, I mean, things that are really bad, that are things that are really bad happening in our community. And I bet that number would be even higher now. I'm not going to take a guess, but logic and reason would tell me that number is even higher. How can they ignore 90 probably plus percent of their population? I just kind of can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, I think that it is a combination of both the structure, because they're elected at large, so they don't have a specific constituency they have to answer to, and they're also 4-year terms. So if you're 1 year into your term, you can do what you want for 3 more years until you're accountable to the public. Whereas if it were by district and my immediate representative voted against my interests, I can call them up on the phone and say, hey, look, this is unacceptable. We elected you to represent us, and you're now taking a position adverse to our interest that we made, and we indicated to you how we felt. So I think certainly that's what I mean by our current system of government is really not a very democratic representative system of government.
So what special skills do you think you bring to the table if elected to the study? Why should people vote for you?
Sure. As an attorney, I regularly deal with statutory construction and interpretation, and part of drafting a future charter is to make sure it can't be challenged in court. That it is not only a document that demonstrates the will of the people, but a document that will hold up to legal challenge if it gets there for whatever reason. The other thing is, as an attorney, I will often, and I'm a litigator. So as a litigator, I am often at odds with my opposition party, as well as with the judge in a case. Yet part of part of that advocacy is being able to deal with adverse parties, but come to a consensus that everyone can live with. And that's how you have in criminal court. That's how you have plea negotiations. You present your side, the prosecutor presents his side, and even the judge presents his view of how he's looking at a case. And then you can iron out a resolution that all sides can live with. And it's not personal. I believe both the elected representatives as well as the input from the public. We've got to have not only a diversity of opinion, but a diversity of ideas.
Yeah.
And we also have to be willing to accept the public's input, because like I said, this is ultimately not going to be my charter or the commission's charter, but it's going to be the public's charter.
Yeah.
And if they are not vested and part of this process, then A, it's going to unlikely they'll vote to adopt it. And B, it won't be representative of their values. And that's what we're here for. We're here we are seeking elected position to represent the values of our fellow citizens and implement a structure of government that will bring Bozeman forward.
Yeah, I all of you have said something very similar, that it's not electing me, it's not my campaign, and that it really is a group effort, and that it's intended to be a fair cross section of how the public feels, so that we can have arguments and not just throw rocks at each other and turn the other direction. We have to come together. We have to figure out something. And as polarizing as all of these issues have been on a local scale, on a federal scale, it's time to really cut the crap and go to work and figure out a way where we can coexist. And maybe we don't agree on all the same stuff, but we can agree that we want the city to be okay. We want the city to thrive. We don't want people to just leave in droves. That's not what anybody wants. So I know we're all rooting for you guys. We are so happy that you've sat down with us and that we have the opportunity to have one-on-ones with you. I think we will probably try to do something again. I had an idea today that we might maybe post something on our website and use our socials to engage the public to ask questions. And maybe we do one more forum if we've got time too, where people can ask specific questions and hopefully give you guys the opportunity to talk more and engage with the public. So, we've got a few ideas and everything's kind of fluid, but I think that would be interesting. And if you are elected, we sure hope that you will have conversations with us in the future, and we can stay in touch and hear how the study is going and work as a community. And
if I am elected, that's just the beginning of the process.
Right.
I expect to have a lot of community engagement because, like I said, ultimately, this is going to be a charter for all of the residents of Bozeman. And it's got to represent their values and their ideas for what our government should be moving forward. And without their input, we can't be successful. Yeah. We need the public's input. And the public, not only do we need their input, they have the right to give us their input, and we have the obligation to listen to and weigh their input and address it appropriately. That's what we're running for. This is a nonpartisan. It's a nonpartisan position. I don't think this is not going to be a political document. Politics should stay out of it. This is the structure of government that will maximize the representation of the citizens of Bozeman.
Yeah, I think it says a lot too. We're so lucky to have this opportunity, because if you engage with most people, even at, the grocery store line, you ask them questions, people are happy to talk about what's going on or what's not working, what they're unhappy about, or what's really cool that's happening. And I just think with something like this, when we're really giving the public the chance to speak out and speak up, is an amazing thing. We're very lucky to have this chance.
Yeah. And we as Montanans, if you give us the opportunity to give our opinion, we're more than willing to give it.
I love it. Well, we're super glad to have sat down with you today. Is there anything else that you would like to say to anyone listening before we wrap?
No, I would just say thank you for taking the time to listen to myself, as well as all the other candidates, whether they appear in this video form or not. Thank you for taking the time to consider your vote. And I appreciate your vote. And I look forward to, hopefully, I trust to represent you in the future. And even if I am not elected, know that I will be working with the study commission to, in any way I can, as a volunteer rather than in the room, from outside the room, to offer any ideas that I've got that are part of my campaign that for whatever reason, the voters may or may not have decided to elect me. But nonetheless, I will give that input and do everything I can to make this a successful process, either as a elected official or as a civilian, helping those who are elected to achieve the best draft charter for the citizens of Bozeman going forward.
That's great to hear. Well, we are rooting for you. We wish you all the best with the campaign, and election day is coming up, and we hope to see everybody there doing their part. And we look forward to talking to you again really soon, Roger. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Have a
your
good
time.
one.
And
Bye.
thank you all for listening to this.
Anytime. Thank you.